Welcome to the David and Hillary Show, episode 59.
Year 2, episode 7.
You're getting so good at that, I'm not even going to mention it.
Nice.
Well, today we're going to talk about encouragement. We've been encouraged by some other people recently, and we hope that this episode encourages you. So thank you for coming along for the ride, and let's get into it.
All right, let's do this.
Well, Hillary, we mentioned in our last episode that we were kind of going through something difficult that we're not going to really talk about. And we, since that time, have had some, really cool kind of encouraging things happen to us. And we also had mentioned, I forget if it was last episode or the one before, about thought of the day.
Right.
We've done show and tell many, many times. And so
But we had a thought one day, and we were like, we should do thought of the day.
thought of the day.
Yeah, because we had a
Exactly.
thought.
Yeah. And by about right now, you'll know whether or not we had time to do the graphics for thought of the day. But that's in the works too.
We'll see.
So the thought of the day today is that people need encouragement. And probably more people than we realize need more encouragement than we realize, especially if our life is going along, pretty average, pretty good, pretty whatever.
Yeah.
We don't maybe think about the encouragement that other people need. And so, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about something that we're not going to talk about. Captain Obvious thing to say. But some people know what we're going through, and they have encouraged us knowing what we're going through.
I was going to say, we actually have been incredibly blessed to have wonderful friends, wonderful family.
Right.
They could not have been kinder.
Yeah.
And-
that's so true.
And that has been amazing.
Yeah.
But apparently, the Lord thinks that we need random strangers to also approach us and bring us encouragement. And I just shout out to the Lord. Thank you. Thank you for sending encouragement
Exactly.
through other people as well.
Well, and it's not so much that they said something that pertained to what we're dealing with, or that they had any kind of amazing insight that gives you chills or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were just, we're going to tell you, two of them.
Yeah, do yours.
Kind of unexpected kindness type things. So in the South, people have a tendency to talk to strangers in a store or a restaurant or whatever, more so than in the North. We've lived a lot of years both places, and that's, there are exceptions, but broadly speaking, that's true. In the North, if someone starts talking to you that you don't know, you're like, what are you doing? I don't know you. This is weird. Don't talk to me.
Stranger danger.
In the South, people just do that all the time, so there's nothing weird about it.
Yeah.
But we went to a fast food restaurant, and we were waiting for our food up near the counter, and there was another couple that had gone through the line in front of us, and they were waiting for their food also. So an older couple, probably, 10 years older than us.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
So the gentleman comes over to me, and he says, have you seen anything amazing today? And I was like, I could tell he was a nice guy, so it wasn't, and we're in the South, so it wasn't crazy weird, but it took me off guard a little bit. And
That's a really unique question, though.
I
think he said, have you been amazed today?
Okay.
Is that it? Have you been amazed today?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that.
But I'm an introvert in public when I don't know people. I can be very pleasant. I can talk to the cashier, whatever. I can go up to people if I have to. It's just not my thing. I'm not a natural Southerner who just wants to talk to everybody, or a natural type A who wants to talk to everybody. So when he came up to me, I wasn't upset. I wasn't put off, but I was also like, okay, what's happening right now? And I was trying to think of how to answer him, because I'm also very literal. And I had something happen earlier that day that kind of let me know that maybe God was thinking about me, which was kind of cool. And I was trying to debate whether I was going to say that to him or not. But then it got awkward because I wasn't actually saying anything. And he goes,
You were prepping your speech.
he goes, I want to show you something. Take out your phone. It's only going to take 60 seconds. And his wife, who obviously he's done this many times to many people,
Yeah.
she's started walking to the other end of the counter, and without even looking at me, she says, or don't, your choice.
Yeah. How many years did they say they've been married? 50.
It was 50 something.
Yeah, 50. I always think 55. 55 years. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this guy's, he's not harmful. And I took out my phone. I was like, okay. He said, pull up your calculator. And I did it. And so he took me through a series of questions. And one of them was to enter in my house number on my street, which I did. And then he told me, what to do. It was basically a mathematical formula. It was several steps. I don't know.
So many steps.
8 to 10 steps at least. Mm-hmm. And one of the other things he asked me was what year I was born. So when I got to thinking about it afterwards, I was like, okay, it's some kind of mathematical formula that will work on every person. And so it's not blowing my mind that this worked, but in the moment, in the first 3 seconds, it kind of did, because I didn't know where he was going with all of this.
Yeah.
He asked me, have you had your birthday yet this year? Or what month is your birthday? And I told him, and then he said like multiply times 1.77 or something like that. I don't know. But we're going through all these things to the point that I'm not even thinking about all the stuff that I'm entering in. Didn't ask me for my social security number or my mother's maiden name. So I was like, okay.
What was the name of your first pet?
No, I'm like, okay, I think we're good. So then finally.
What street did you grow up on? Just kidding.
So finally we get to the end and he said, okay, press equal. I said, okay. And I looked at the number and it didn't really mean anything to me. And he said, how many digits do you have? I said, 5. He never looked at the screen. In fact, when I took it out, I kind of laid it flat in my hand so he could see it. And he just took it and went up like that. And like he said, I don't want to see what you're punching. I'm going to tell you what to punch in, but some of them are unique to you. And I don't want to see it. I said, okay, I got 5 digits. And he said, all right, the first 3 are your street address. And I said, yeah. And I knew I had entered that, but I had done so much other stuff.
So many steps.
After that, and it wasn't like multiply by 10, divide by 10. Hey, it's your street address.
It's your street.
It wasn't that. It was way more complicated. And I was like, yeah, that is my street address. And he goes, why are the last 2 digits your age? And then he just walked away.
Like mic drop.
I was like,
what?
And then he came back and gave me a high five. And I was like, well, that is amazing. Thank you. And then I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, we both
laughed
so hard.
Which is not really like me in public, especially. I was just like I got so much bottled up stress, and he just uncorked it. And then I'm like laughing so loud in Arby's. Everybody else is trying to figure out what is happening over there.
I didn't want to even go inside Arby's because I was so upset. And so because if you go in there slow, the drive-thru is fast, but inside is slow. And they were slow. That's how we had time to do the old math trick.
We needed that more than we needed speed in our food preparation.
We did. But when we went in and we did the order and everything, I was fine. But as anybody that has gone through something with grief will tell you, 1 minute you're fine, and the next minute you're trying not to cry in Arby's.
Yeah.
It just hit me. And so I almost had to leave before he did that. But when that all went down, I just felt like just stay. Just stay and watch.
Yeah.
And we did. We laughed so hard, and it took us a minute back in the car. We're like, how did he do that? Because we couldn't remember. He asked you so many questions.
Yeah.
We couldn't remember. And then also we're like, oh, no. Okay, yeah. One of those questions was, what year were you born? What month were you born? So that's how he worked it in. But it was very smooth because there were so many questions. It was hidden in there. It was really fun. I like a trick that you just can't quite figure out how it was done.
Well, it's like when somebody does a card trick and you know that they didn't, or another sleight of hand trick, you know that they didn't actually make something vanish into thin air, or they didn't really have an empty hat and then pull a dove or a rabbit out of it. That dove or rabbit existed the whole time. I don't know where it was.
Right.
But I don't want to know how the trick is done. If you amaze me, then that's cool. Kudos on you.
Yeah.
Because I want to be amazed every now and then. And so that just kind of helped our mood a lot.
Yeah, it really did. Another thing happened. So that was like a week ago Saturday. And then
It was
just
about 10 days ago.
Yeah, and then just a couple days ago, we were finishing up our grocery shopping. It was after church. So we don't dress up for church, but we had on, nice clothes, whatever, jeans, a shirt with a collar.
Nicer than what we wear to go landscaping.
Right. And we had to go grab a couple things at Walgreens.
Yep.
And we walked in together, got what we needed. And as we started walking out, there was a car that was pulled up right in front of the exit, the entrance. And this lady in the driver's seat started rolling or putting down the window on the passenger side. And there was another passenger there. We think maybe it was her mom, just based on age differences. And she got your attention.
Yeah.
I can't remember because she was speaking to you, but she wanted to get your attention, and she just said that she'd been watching us.
She said y'all are such a cute couple. I just had to tell you that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to say. I was like,
thank you.
Oh, I'm smiling really big. I at a loss for words, which again is not like me. But
yeah.
She said, we watched you go in. We watched you come back out. You're a cute couple. We just had fun watching you. We just wanted to tell you that. And
just the fact that she would take the time to stop us and tell us that was so kind.
It wasn't creepy at all.
No,
it was just like a random kind thing to say to someone.
Yeah. So out of the ordinary and very encouraging and kind.
Yeah.
And those two things really just kind of got me thinking about just random words from strangers that we've never met.
Yeah.
Unexpected. And I really do feel like, even though, like we said, we've been blessed to have family and friends that have been so kind, so encouraging, but I really do feel like that the Lord was just taking another step to say, I see you, I love you,
yeah,
and I am actually going to put random people in your path to also encourage you.
Yeah.
And again, this type of thing almost never happens to us, but we really needed that extra encouragement, and it was really nice.
Well, that's another reason why I kind of felt like it was from God, because it was right on time when we needed it the most.
Yeah. It started, I was trying to think of that first, but the kids used to have a song that we would sing to it. It's 1 Thessalonians 5:11. It says, encourage one another and build each other up.
Yep.
And I think we need more of that in the world. I think we do.
Yeah, I think so too. So it just made us want to encourage you. If you feel impressed to say something kind or encouraging to someone, then maybe go for it. I know that sometimes it's hard to speak to a stranger, and I understand that not everything we say may always be received in the spirit that we intend to give it. But if you're convinced that you can say something positive or kind to someone and you really feel impressed to do it, it may be God that's prompting you, and he knows that the other person needs it. And just like the people that encouraged us, they probably didn't know that we needed that, but we did. And maybe you need it too. Maybe it encourages you to encourage someone else. So
that's right.
That's our thought of the day.
Ba-dum-bum.
With or without the graphics, we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, Hillary, last week we asked each other some questions.
Yeah.
And we had, instead of 20 questions, we said it was 20 questions minus 12.
Right.
And then instead of getting through 8 questions, we got through 3 questions.
A total of 3, yeah. It's that really new popular game called 3 Questions.
It was, we set a new record for underachievement, I think, on that game.
And maybe long talking. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we probably already had the record for that,
Possibly.
but we did have a couple more questions from that list that we thought we would jump into and just kind of see. It might be fun
Yeah.
to.
I thought maybe, well, do you want to answer the question that you want to answer, or do you want to answer the question I want you to answer?
I don't know which questions I want to answer. Really, I mean, we did a little bit of prep. I can see the questions.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
question do you want me to answer? That might be more interesting.
I want you to do a talent you have that no one sees
Oh boy. Well,
with examples.
with examples.
Or do you want to save that one for the end? No. Go for it. Go for
I
it.
mean, we might as well.
This
just
might shut
jump
the whole
in.
show down.
Maybe. Yeah. Remember when we used to have a podcast?
That's right.
Well, probably all the way back to when I was in junior high. I would. Well, let me start it this way. My dad loves to whistle.
Yep.
And he's good at it.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my earliest memories of him.
My grandfather, my mother's father, also loved to whistle and was good at it. And so, my dad's still living, my grandfather's not, but those are fond memories of being a kid and being around those two together or in different places or whatever, and them whistling. And I can whistle, I like to whistle, but
Man, the world needs more whistling, doesn't it?
I think, yeah,
Where are the whistlers? They're not whistling anymore.
whistle while you work.
I know they're not. They're not whistling.
Anytime I would do a project with my grandfather, he would be whistling.
That's awesome.
And anytime I would hang out with my dad, he was a pastor, and I just remember there would be times that I would go with him when everyone else had left the church, and he would go through the whole church and would make sure all the lights were off and any doors that needed to be locked or whatever. He's like, "Come on, David, let's go." And and as we're walking through the church, he would be whistling, and that's just a fond memory.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, probably around the same time that I was allowed to start listening to the Top 40 Countdown on the radio, because up until then I hadn't really expressed much of an interest in it, but we weren't really listening to a lot of pop and rock music in our house.
Yeah.
So I love music so much, and I just started imitating different instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware of the term beatboxing at that time, but
had that even been really coined, that expression?
Probably. A lot of things have been around longer than you think.
Okay.
If you go, I haven't done the history on it, but I liked imitating drums, guitar, bass, horns, whatever.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and 80s, the groups like Chicago, Kool and the Gang, that had a lot of horns and different things. And so I would just, almost absentmindedly do that and kind of just imitate. Often you can't really do two instruments at the same time, but kind of just, I'd have a song in my head and I would just be and on more than one occasion I would just be doing that kind of under my breath, and somebody would say, "Oh my gosh, is that you? I was trying to figure out where the radio was."
That's cool.
And I thought, "Oh, well, that's a pretty big compliment." But yeah.
Do a trumpet. Do a trumpet.
Oh man. See, if I'd have known,
You would have practiced.
yeah. I mean, I knew this question was in here, but
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking about it.
It's okay if you can't.
Do something else, and maybe we'll come
You'll
back
think
to
about
it.
it. Okay.
I would have warmed up.
Yeah, well, my answer to this question, a talent I have that no one sees, is nothing. I I couldn't think of a single thing. And
That's funny and
it's
weird.
like what you see is what you get. You've probably seen all my talents.
Well, that's the problem with this question for you, is that your talents aren't really hidden. Your talents are, you have the world's greatest smile.
Aw, thanks.
And you're mostly cheerful most of the time.
Mostly cheerful. What a
And-
great award.
I mean, I'm around you more than anybody else.
That's true.
And I know
you get all the moods.
I know you have off days like everybody.
The world gets the mostly cheerful.
You have a great laugh.
Thanks.
You pick people up. You encourage people, just like we're talking about today. So those are some of your talents, but everybody sees them because you are generous with your encouragement and your cheer.
I thank you. I'm going to vote that you're generous with your beatboxing. Just be like, you just meet somebody, just start beatboxing with them, but like,
oh man,
yeah,
I don't know.
Get you pulled your right out of that shell.
Wow. So one of my weaknesses is I don't like to embarrass myself. So
True.
If I would have probably worked up a little thing, if I was going to really go all in and do that, but I didn't, and
That's okay.
now I'm chickening out. So
you can. One of my talents is I'm going to let you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Thank you. I did a little.
All right, you pick.
So I'll go ahead and talk about something that I was terrible at as a kid.
Okay. All right.
So I mentioned how much I loved music and how I express it. Well, the reason I express it that way, and I sang some too. I sang in some choirs and different things, but I wanted to learn how to play an instrument, but I was under the impression that if you like music, if you can hear the music in your head, if you can sing, if you can carry a tune, someone says, sing this, da 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 da, and I can go da 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 right after you, I should be good at playing an instrument. And for whatever reason, me transferring what's in my head to my fingers to random keys, well, they felt very random to me, on the piano was very difficult. Mm-hmm. And to say, okay, well, we're just going to start with super basic stuff. And here's a C chord, or here's the letter C. I guess you just start out doing C, D, E, E, D, C.
Yeah, I mean, single keys, yeah.
I could do it. But I've never been great with memorizing facts and data and all that stuff and regurgitating it. And I think the piano would have been probably different. There's only 88 keys, and it's just a matter of time and patience and practice. The biggest thing that messed me up was that I'm also a perfectionist. So I expected immediate results. I expected to be really good at it really fast, and I'm a perfectionist. So my mom was giving me piano lessons, but we didn't have a piano. We lived next door to the church, which had a piano.
Okay.
And so she would give me the lesson, and then because Dad was at the church every day, like this was summer, I could just go over and practice on the piano anytime I wanted to. Mm-hmm. And she would say, well, here are your exercises. Do each of these 3 exercises 5 times every day, and in a week, we'll see how you're doing, and we'll go from there. And so I would try to do the lesson, which wasn't crazy difficult, but again, it's like the very, very beginning.
Right.
And I mean, it might have been a page, across, maybe 4 lines of music. If I didn't do it perfectly, if I missed a note, or if I slowed down or sped up, if I felt like I had the timing off, I would be like, well, that doesn't count. And not only that, if I did 4 of them perfectly, and on the 5th one I screwed up the last note, I would say, doesn't count. I got to do 5 in a row perfectly.
Wow. So no fun at all.
It was the opposite of fun.
Yeah, 0 fun.
It was torture. Mm-hmm. And I tried it for 2 or 3 weeks, and I just quit. So I can't do it. I can't play piano. And Mom tried to talk me into it. She didn't know because she wasn't there to hear. A lot of times, parents will kind of hear in the other room while they're practicing. Yeah. And maybe, it's whatever. I'm not blaming anything or anybody, but she didn't know. It was years later when I looked back, and I was like, well, no wonder I could never learn to play. Yeah. I wasn't a prodigy, but I probably would have been at least average at it if I would have known how to practice and known how to set realistic expectations.
Yeah. And also, you're so creative. If you could have just learned a few chords, and then she said, go make up a couple songs, you probably would have really loved it and just had a lot of fun. My vocal teacher, she actually would do exercises like that, where she would play certain things on the piano, and then she would say, just jump in and make up a melody and just if you make a mistake, just keep going. It was all about like experimentation
Wow.
and just fun and harmonizing.
She's
And
trying to get you to be a jazz pianist.
I mean, maybe I wasn't playing the piano, she was,
Oh.
but she was trying to get me to just harmonize to whatever chords I could pick out of the air.
Nice.
And that really helped me. It helped me to hear and to listen, and also don't be afraid to make a mistake.
Yes.
That's so important to have somebody in your life that's telling you, make a mess, make a mistake, go ahead, we can fix it.
With so many things.
Yeah, it's really important. So, yeah, that's really good. Well,
What were you terrible at as a kid?
I mean, going along in this certain theme, I actually was really bad at trying new things on my own. That's why I kind of loved that music teacher so much. She really pushed me to do things that I was afraid of. I didn't want to try anything that I thought I didn't know how to do. How ridiculous does that sound? You have to try things you don't know how to do. That's how you learn how to do things. But I was probably like you, like afraid of failing, afraid of looking dumb. I remember when I first got my French horn, I got the instrument home, but I hadn't started any band classes yet. And I think I had a little book, and I just was like, yep, nope, I can't play this. I hadn't had one single lesson. I just assumed like I can't do this because I
Yeah.
tried it and it didn't work.
You and me were kind of alike in that
We
way.
were a sad pair right there. But I did go to summer classes for band. You went to like summer band or whatever it was, and they started it out really simple and just taught you one note at a time. And because there was a band director right there saying, do this, do this, do this, I'm compliant enough. I just did it. So, but yeah, on my own, just thinking, oh, I'll just try something new. I was too scared. Yeah.
Well, it's easy to look back and say, where would we be if we had done certain things different? And I think a lot of people ask that about a lot of things. And as I sometimes say, well, there still aren't time machines. And so
That's right.
we can't go back and do anything different. We can maybe learn from it. We can laugh about it. We can
Yeah.
talk about it and try to encourage other people to take more risks, practice without perfection. Practice doesn't make perfect usually. Practice just does make you better if you practice well. If you practice well and are patient and stick with it, you'll get better.
Yeah.
And that just, I hadn't quite learned that when I was trying to figure out the piano.
Yeah. Yeah. And that there should be more joy in things. Just to have the
for
joy
sure.
of it.
That's why I think when our kids took music in junior high, and they did, and in high school too, but they did a mix of classical music and marches, and then sometimes they would do like pop rock songs, but do them as a band.
Yeah.
And I think that, that was fun and good to keep them engaged, expose them to a lot of different things. When I was a kid, I just had music class in school. I didn't take an instrument, as I said. Excuse me. But when I would go to a concert like that, it was like most of that music I had either never heard, or it might have been on one of my parents' albums that they played at home. They played classical music or something, but it just didn't seem relevant
Yeah.
to what we as kids were into.
Right.
Which
Right.
I think makes it harder.
What about this last one?
Yeah, I was looking at that one too. What's a small thing?
Oh, you know what? I was looking at the wrong one. The one above that.
That's the next to last.
Next
one.
to last.
That's the penultimate question.
The penultimate question. Yeah.
We learned that word listening to another podcast.
That's right. That's where we get so smart.
So you want to know a risk that I took that didn't work out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. A risk that you took that didn't work.
Well, I was frustrated a few years ago that our business wasn't taking off more, and I actually had someone approach me about being a supervisor in their landscaping company. We talked about it, and they offered me the opportunity to start in February, and I didn't have a lot going on in February. In fact, the first thing we did the first day was trudge through snow in the South and tear out an ice-covered wooden deck
Wow.
in order to prepare the way for a really nice paver patio with stone walls and yeah. But I was like, well, I mean, it's nasty out. We're not going to work today. And he's like, yeah, we are. But anyway, a risk I took that didn't work out. So after working for that company for 2 months, I just realized that they had a different work personal balance idea or paradigm than I did. I say they, it was a company co-owned by two people. Good guys,
Yeah.
talented, did good work, good projects to be a part of. And
Nice guys.
there were parts of it that I liked, and I did learn some things. When I took it, I intended to stay with it. But yeah, it's just, if I had stayed with them, I would have seen the family too little. And one of the things that was important to me was to try to, when the kids had activities, to try to be there, performances, sporting events, whatever, as much as possible. When you own your own business, you can't always do that because sometimes you're in the middle of a project that you just can't walk away from. But you have a lot more control. And so that was ultimately the thing where I just said, I can't do this anymore because I'm not going to ever see my family. So
Yeah.
it was a hard thing to say yes to because I felt like I was saying no to my dream of having a company that really took off and did well. And, but ultimately I just couldn't stay with it because I was giving up too much.
I felt like it was also a confirmation that you were supposed to be doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
You thought that was a good opportunity. You took the risk.
Yep.
And tried it, and then realized it really was just confirming, nope, I'm going to stick with what I was doing. That was working better than I thought it was.
Yep.
And that's where we're going to stay. So
sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And, until you try it and find out this is great, this is not great, or whatever.
What I had wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah.
And it actually makes you happier, because you're not always thinking, oh, if I just had this other opportunity, life would be better,
Right.
You just start appreciating what you have. So I'm thankful that you did it. I thought it was a good try.
Yeah. Yeah. Pros and cons with almost everything, and definitely with that experience as well.
Yeah.
What about a risk that you took that didn't work out?
Well, when we first got married, you and I both had full-time jobs. And then after we had our first baby, I wanted to be home, and you were working full-time, but just where we were in life, we needed a little bit of extra income. We were kind of missing my full-time income.
Right.
That went away. And so I started trying to get creative, finding jobs that I could do at home. Now, this is before the internet, people.
Yeah.
And so I think this was actually an ad in the newspaper somehow, or in the back of a magazine. And it was like work at home opportunities. And all you had to do was purchase this catalog, right? Probably for $29.95. And then they would send you the catalog, and then you could pick from all these different opportunities and which one you wanted to try to do from home. Well, I've always been a fairly crafty person, fairly talented with, so my mom taught me how to sew. I had actually even started to crochet at that time. I was pretty good with making things. And so they had one that was making hair bows. Mm-hmm. They would send you all of the supplies. You would put them together, ship them back, and then they paid you for them. And so there wasn't really a lot of upfront cost, except for like the catalog that you paid for. And I'm pretty sure that was the whole scheme right there, was getting you to buy that catalog. because I'm promising you that they sent me like the world's most complicated hair bow.
Yeah.
And it had these tiny little beads that you had to sew at the top of each little thing, and they had a small little ribbon you had to glue on each side, and I'm thinking, okay, this seems like a very complicated hair bow. And do you know that I never got paid for a single hair bow? I made them, shipped them off, and then they would send them back and tell me like what was wrong with them. And I had a friend at the time. She was just cracking up through this whole thing. She's like, this is a scam, right? I can't believe you're this bad at making hair bows. And I was like, I know, right? I should be able to make a hair bow. And in fact, this friend never really quite let me live down that risk that I took that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Also another young stay-at-home mom who was also trying other things. I think she tried a newspaper route for a while. That didn't work either. So every once in a while, we would kind of tease each other about some of the things and ideas that we had tried. And
right.
And if something came up, she'd say, well, that's a real hair bow of an idea.
That's awesome.
So, and then actually when we moved to Tennessee, we have a friend that we found out that in her spare time, she makes money by making hair bows. And it's legit. She really does it. It's local. I've never once asked to try.
No.
I don't want to make your hair bows.
Well, I remember looking at those hair bows thinking, I'm an artistic, crafty person too, and I don't see anything wrong with them. And the things they're saying are wrong with them. Doesn't make sense. And yeah, it could definitely be a scam. If it's a scam, why are they paying for postage to mail them back to you?
I know.
Why didn't they just say, oh, we don't really have a use for the hair bows anymore. Thank you for participating.
Right,
We'll let you
right.
know when we get another order. And then just never, after they sold you the catalog.
I don't know.
But why would they pay to send them back? That was the part that never made sense to me.
None of it made sense to me.
Well, we've done it again. we got through 3 questions.
Did we do 3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We did. Well, I think it's probably
3
time.
is the new 20.
It's time. Why don't you start wrapping us up?
All right. Well, we hope you had fun with this episode.
We do hope that you feel encouraged.
We hope that you will like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend.
Yeah, we have a lot of hopes.
And dreams.
Yeah, we do.
We hope you have a great week.
And we hope to see you next time on the David and Hillary Show.
See ya.